now it's Mayor Carter. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, the dignitaries, for sure. I didn't know Jim Lawson was going to come all the way from Woodbine Racetrack. That was a pleasant surprise as well. Of course, as Mayor Carter mentioned, my two boys, Bradley and Russell, their girlfriends, Olivia and Melissa, and William. Great to see William here as well. And my beautiful wife, Peru. I was going to say, I appreciate everybody that traveled a long ways to be here. And I'm just thinking, I think I traveled the furthest to be here. So thank you, Peru, and thank myself for traveling all the way here. But anyways, this is absolutely amazing. I know I started working here in 1966 at Winfield Farms, and I didn't think in a million years, after shoveling manure and cleaning stalls, they'd be here having a park named after me. This is absolutely amazing. I have to thank three gentlemen for the success of my career, of course, and one of them, my cousin Lorne Campbell's here, and you remember Uncle Webb Bride. And Uncle Webb Bride mentioned to me when I was 16 years old, he said, Sandy, you should think about becoming a jockey. You're the right size, and I think that would be great for you. I remember watching the race replays and everything on Channel 11 from Hamilton many years ago. So anyways, I started bugging my uncle. When are you going to take me to the track? When are you going to take me to the track? Finally he says, okay, Sandy, he said, we live right down the road. I actually grew up here in Oshawa, born and raised in Oshawa. These were my roots. Moved to Thixon Road when I was about 10 years old. Lived there till I was 16 when my uncle Webb Bride called Winfields. And if we wanted to actually have an interview with Mr. E.P. Taylor, I get on the phone, I'd like to, I have a young man here who's thinking about becoming a jockey. Jim Lawson's laughing over here, Mr. Lawson. So anyways, they said, well, Mr. Taylor's a little bit busy. We have a trainer here by the name of Duke Campbell. That was like trying to see the Premier of Ontario. So anyways, that didn't happen, but luckily for me, I've always seemed to be in the right place at the right time when it came to my life and my career. And in my career, my Uncle Webb Bride, I have to give him so much praise for what he did, bringing me here to Winfield's Farm. I met trainer Duke Campbell, and he was impressive. He had the big Stetson cowboy hat. He was about 6'2", had the cowboy boots on. And Mr. Campbell, nice to meet you, and his hands were so big. He said, son, let me see your hands. So I thought maybe he wanted to see if I was a hard worker or something. Oh, I might be in trouble here. So I held up my hands, and he looked down at my feet. He said, son, it doesn't look like you're going to grow that much, so I'll take you to Woodbine and see how you like it. Well, I just knew the front end of the horse, and I knew the back end of the horse. But that's about all I knew about horse racing. When I was probably about 8 or 10 years old, my uncle Ed Keetch and my dad took my cousin Tim and I horseback riding in Oshawa. And that was when I was 10 years old. So starting here at Winfields, you know, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I remember one time a guy came up to me and said, Sandy, go fill that hay net for me. I said, a hay net? What the heck is that? Yeah, does anybody here know what a hay net is? Two people, three people, 4 people. And that's about it. I didn't know what the heck a hay net was. So I finally found out what a hay net was, and I found out how to work around horses. And I actually worked here for a whole winter. And then Duke Campbell had me breaking yearlings. I groomed horses for a year, and I was breaking yearlings when I was, I think I was 17, 18 years old. Broke yearlings, learned how to ride, went to Woodbine Racetrack. You talk about being in the right place at the right time. Duke Campbell, when I was starting to get ready to ride, I groomed horses for a year, I exercised horses for a year. Now it's time to ride. I got to tell you a quick story too. When Duke Campbell, he said, you know what? Just take your time. I'll know when you're ready. And I kept bugging him. Mr. Campbell, do you think I'm ready now? Do you think I'm ready now? He said, honestly, I'll let you know. I was galloping this horse for him one time. This horse's name was Morning Rounds. And this horse was so strong and so tough. None of the exercise boys could hold him. I couldn't hold him. He'd just go out there and run around the racetrack as fast as he could. So anyways, he put the draw reins on him. And if you could picture it, they don't hook to the bit. They loop through the bit and they hook to the girth. So when I took a hold, I got his head down. Once I got his head down, I could actually control him. And I felt pretty good about it. I could gallop him around without him running off. Except for one day at Greenwood, it was right at break time. The pony boys had went in. Duke Campbell's still on the track with his pony watching me go around. And I had him, and my girth broke. So if you can picture that, my reins are hooked to the girth. So now I'm pulling the reins in, my saddle's loose. Now I'm bareback, and I'll never forget his name. His name is Morning Rounds. And my life is flashing in front of my face. And finally I gathered everything up. I had the saddle, I had the reins, and I got a handful of mane. Here comes Duke Campbell on the pony, and he came out and picked me up. And he looked over and he goes, didn't drop the reins or the saddle, he didn't fall up, you're about ready to start riding races. Well, that was about a year into galloping horses, and all of a sudden it was crazy. We used to have a lot of fun on the backstretch when I lived on the backstretch. I remember this one other exercise boy, Jimmy Mullins, and I, we were wrestling on the ground, and Duke Campbell said, Sandy, could you stop the wrestling for a little bit? I got somebody I want to introduce you to. And lo and behold, it was the gentleman that became my agent, Colin Wick. So Mr. Wick, nice to meet you. Little did I know, I was getting the best agent ever in the history of Canadian racing. And you can ask anybody on the racetrack right now, Jim Lawson would tell you Colin Wick was the best agent. And I think, we traveled all over North America together, I think he was the best agent in North America. And they didn't have agents in Europe, so I think he was the best in the world. He was a fantastic guy and a character, and he would drive you. He was a great motivator, and he got me so many great mounts and made me leading rider so many times. So his Uncle Webb Bride, Duke Campbell, and Colin Wick. If it wasn't for those two people, I wouldn't be here right now. So I have to give them a lot of credit for me to be in this place. And honey, have I forgotten anything? My lovely wife, Peru. Anyways, this is tremendous. It's a great honor. Having my family here as well, William. This is going to be a memory that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. And I want to thank the City of Oshawa very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandy, and it's amazing.